One of my all-time favorite demonstrations I like to do for a fun activity for the children is showing them the silver mirror experiment. The mirror experiment goes back all the way 200 years ago in the 1800s, but there's a story about thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago, mirrors were not like the mirrors that we know today. Mirrors today have an aluminum backing at the side to make it very reflective. But thousands of years ago, mirrors were known as the looking glass. The looking glass, where you get to look at yourself, weren't the mirrors that we see today. They would be very corroded, they would be not that shiny, they would use things that does its best if they polished it really well, things like silver or gold or copper pans, and they would use something like even like this if they were able to see their own reflection. But as you know, is that we couldn't really see that reflection. It would rust, it would corrode, maybe there'd be a bend to it or a scratch, so it wasn't that very reflective. Well, believe it or not, when it came to like 1800s, there was a man, his name was Liebig, and he was a German, and he made tremendous amounts of money because he found a way through a chemical reaction called the redox reaction of where they would use silver ions, and the silver ions would gain on electrons, so it's undergoing a reduction reaction, and if silver ions gained electrons, they would form silver solids, and it would be in the inside of anything that was made out of glass. He was a very rich man. He made a lot of things that started the precedence of making silver mirrors. And these are beautiful things that I've made and kept over the years, where we can make silver inside glasses, anything that's worn out in your lab. And I use anything that for demonstrations. You wouldn't want to drink out of it, so just be careful of that. And also things like silver ornaments when they were used in the old days, where it was made out of glass to put on Christmas trees. I'd like to show you how this is done. It's a mixture of 3 chemicals. What we have here is we have a sugar solution. So there's a sugar solution, it's just glucose or dextrose. What we have is a 1-to-1 mixture. This contains ammonium nitrate and silver nitrate. This is where the silver ions is taking place. And you notice it's a bit of a cloudy mixture because there's a lot of silver ions in here. The last one is what would really cause it is sodium hydroxide. So we're making we're putting a base to it, okay? Now in the documentation I have the specific concentrations for you and the measurements to make this. But let me show you the glassware that I like to use. I like to use a rounded Florence flask. It's not like anyone uses these days in your lab. I don't think you ever make a solution out of a Florence flask. Usually it's out of a volumetric flask or a beaker. So if you have any of these laying around, this would be awesome, okay? Now what I like to do is, I'll hold it really close for you here, is I'm gonna add the glucose first, so it's in order, okay? We're gonna add the glucose or the dextrose, it's whatever sugar products that we have in there, okay? The next thing that we're going to do as well is we add the 1-to-1 mixture of ammonium nitrate and silver nitrate. So this is the cloudy mixture, and we're gonna add that in there. Okay, so notice it's really, really cloudy. Now, once I add a strong base to it, I'm going to take my rubber stopper and I'm going to turn it sideways and then start swooshing it around. And it takes a few minutes for it. It's going to start changing color, okay? So let's see what happens. I'm just going to put this to the side because I will be shaking it sideways in front of you. And let's add this, and perhaps you'll see something in a reasonable amount of time. Okay, notice it's turning brown right away. I'm going to stopper it, and I'm going to start swooshing it around. Now this is, what you're seeing real fast, everyone, is the silver ions is gaining electrons to form silver solid. And we're really going to start swooshing this around. We really want this over in this glassware. Swoosh it, swoosh it, swoosh it, swoosh it.